Were you gonna address? You had some little theory about.
I do have a theory. I won't get too into it.
Okay.
If you want to read my entire theory, go to ign.com/blog/KazRisk/2015/0-Zelda-U-B-A-Skyward-Sword-sequel-starring-Majora. And that's as long as the URL goes. Or you can just Google Kaz Risk, Majora's Mask Theory, IGN, all that. Basically, what the theory is we've seen Majora's Mask in A Link Between Worlds. We've seen Majora's Mask in Majora's Mask. That means that Majora's Mask originated prior to Ocarina of Time, because Ocarina of Time has a split in the space-time continuum. Like, if Link dies, it goes this way. If he lives, it goes that way. And if he lives but becomes a kid, it goes that way and stuff. Like, there's 3 different timelines: Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, and then A Link to the Past. If Majora's Mask, the physical mask, is present in 2 different timelines, that means it had to originate prior to the point of splitting, which would leave the option open that the Majora's Mask either originated in Skyward Sword, within Ocarina of Time, or during Minish Cap. Minish Cap, probably not. And the mask is told to be from very ancient tribes, that there's lots of mischief in the land, is what the Happy Mask salesman said. He said there's lots of mischief, these tribes made it, it's all the way back from then. Which means it's probably ancient, and Skyward Sword is the genesis story of all of The Legend of Zelda. It's the very first, chronological story of Zelda. All that to say, it seems as though the Zelda we're seeing for Zelda NX, Zelda 2017, is in an open, somewhat empty world. And while it's empty because it's being developed, my theory is that it's shortly after Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword establishes the land, the world we know of Zelda, but then Zelda NX shortly follows that and is farther developing the civilization that we see later in Ocarina of Time. But during that time, you have tribes, you have dungeons, tons of mischief happening, and we see the origin of Majora. Because every mask in Majora's Mask is like a dead person or something. It's like a trapped in soul and stuff. Like, you see that first when you become the Deku and all that. It's like a dead Deku kid. And there's very early on, it's kind of established, like, these are dead people that you have the masks of. That means Majora is a dead boss.
Yeah.
A dead enemy. Could Majora, not Majora's Mask, but could Majora be one of the prominent villains in The Legend of Zelda NX?
Interesting.
Which would cause, Majora was known for mischief. That's why, he manipulated the Skull Kid. Could that cause the need for a bunch of side quests, which would fill up an open world? Majora's doing this, Majora's doing that. Lots of connections between all of it. Lots of parallels between Skyward Sword and Majora's Mask. And Majora's Mask been getting a ton of promotion with the remake, with Majora being present in Hyrule Warriors, and with the mask being kind of relevant and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if all that was leading up to
the
relevancy in...
That could very well be.
So that's my silly theory. You can read a lot of it, including spoilers for both Skyward Sword, Twilight Princess, etc., etc. All the Zelda games are spoiled in my actual blog. I tried to kind of hold back spoilers for the sake of this discussion. But you can find all of those there. I think it's interesting. I think it has some merit.
Definitely being in the past makes me think that we could definitely get some origins of some of that stuff, and not being a total Genesis story. I think that it makes sense that we'd have, it's more of a primitive than Genesis-y, it's more of
you kind of see, even the promotional art, that he's very much so like a kind of small town.
And I think Majora definitely fits in with that whole primitive sort of theme. I definitely agree with that. So I definitely see it's a huge possibility. And pure fan service and just the amount of hype and reaction, it'd be really epic if it is in the game that they reveal it at E3 when we see it, and we're gonna get maybe 2 90-minute demos and possibly more if IGN covers it. So most likely, if that's the main villain, we'll hopefully see or get some sort of hint at that at E3. So.
Yeah, like the Majora's doing this, Majora's doing that, and hopefully we can have this snippet up prior to the announcement, so we can say you heard it here first on Koppai. Also, though, I mean, if you guys don't believe me, if for some reason the snippet goes up late, my blog is on IGN. You can see written by Kazrisk.
Historically,
that was the very first blog I ever wrote for IGN, and I ended up getting like featured by them a ton of times, and so. That was what started it all, though, was I had an itch one day. I'm like, I need to write for video games. I need to talk about video games with someone out there on the internet. And I'm like, what am I going to share? What do I have to say? Oh, Majora's Mask is going to be a sequel to Skyward Sword and yada, 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 yada. And that was what started it all. I'm probably going to make that a different snippet, but I don't know really where to divide it at. But there's a moment where you say, like, don't you have a theory and stuff?
Yeah.
And I'll do it then, but not to listen to all that. But
38 minutes in.
One other thing I was going to say, though, is I do definitely think, regardless of whether or not it features Majora's Mask or not, I do think it's going to be before Ocarina of Time and after Skyward Sword. There's a time in there that the Zelda timeline says in Hyrule Historia that says like it's like an era of growth and expansion, and that seems to fit so well with an open world game. It'd be really fitting, and it'd be cool if you talk about these mini dungeons and stuff. It could be cool to see like dungeons that you eventually kind of find things that you know of Zelda lore. Like you find the Wind Waker, maybe you find the original Ocarina. Like maybe there's these kind of like little callbacks, or more. I guess it'd be more foreshadowing and all that within the game. Moving on.